ever look around at your life and think, this cannot be it? Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, aching way. Like you followed the rules, you showed up, you kept it all together. And now you're 40 something and you're suddenly starting over with no map, no certainty, and really nobody checking on you. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm still rising, beauty over age, turning every tear into a brand new page. No more hard hiding, I've come full bloom.
What's up to my favorite bunch of beauties? Welcome back to Beauty Over Age, the space where we talk real life, real transitions, and what it means to live with power, peace, and purpose after 40. If you're new here, I am so glad you found your way to this corner of the internet. And if you're one of my day ones, you already know this is a space for grown women who've seen some things and are still standing. Today's not going to be a light one because we're talking about something nobody really prepares you for. What it actually feels like to start over at 40. Not the polished version, not the everything happens for a reason version. The real version. Starting over at 40 is not some Instagram quote. It's not a glow up. For a lot of us, it's a survival move. It's that moment when you look around at the life you've built, maybe the job, the relationship, the routine, and you realize, I can't keep going like this. And I am not here to sugarcoat it. I am here to talk about the part where everything feels uncertain, but you know you can't go back. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what no one says when your life takes a turn and you have to rebuild at an age when people think you should have it all figured out. There's this quiet moment that happens before the decision. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's usually something small, like sitting in your car in the driveway for 20 minutes because you don't want to walk into your own home, or realizing that even after a good day, you still feel heavy. Or waking up and thinking, damn, I have to do this all over again. That's the moment most of us don't talk about because it's not a rock bottom. It's not a crisis. It's a slow, deep awareness that something isn't working. And you can't lie to yourself anymore about it. Starting over didn't come to me like a choice. It came like a necessity. I knew if I stayed where I was, emotionally, professionally, spiritually, I was going to start disappearing. You ever felt like that? Like parts of you are fading and nobody even notices? That's what forced a shift, not the ambition, not inspiration, but self-preservation. Starting over means letting go of things you once held sacred. Sometimes it's a marriage, sometimes it's a job title. Sometimes it's a version of you that everyone else depended on. When I started over, I lost more than my routine. I lost identity. I lost a sense of control. I lost friendships that only worked because I was in a role they liked. Nobody talks about the grief, how you mourn the version of you that sacrificed so much to keep everything together. I had to sit with the fact that I had built a life around being reliable while quietly resenting how much I gave. And then comes the embarrassment. You're 40 plus and you're back at the drawing board. People your age are talking about retirement and you're over there trying to figure out how to pay for a new certification or update your resume or even make new friends. It's humbling. It makes you question your worth. But here's the truth. Losing the old version of your life is not the same as losing yourself. Sometimes you have to lose the life that was built on survival so you can finally create one built on wholeness. Now, here's the part that doesn't get enough credit, what you actually carry forward. Because despite the loss, you don't start from zero. You've got experience, you've got intuition, and you've got receipts. You know what doesn't sit right with you anymore. You can tell when a room, a job, a relationship doesn't feel like a safe space. You know how to advocate for yourself even if your voice shakes. You've loved people, you've been disappointed, you've had to rebuild from things you never even told anyone about. All of that becomes your foundation now, not the titles, not the salary. Your capacity becomes your compass. That's why starting over in your 40s hits different. Because this time, you're not doing it to impress anybody. You're doing it to preserve yourself. You're building something that feels honest, even if it doesn't look perfect. Now, here's the part nobody warns you about. That weird, foggy space between what you walked away from and what you're trying to walk into. People love a good before and after story, right? But they skip the middle. That middle part is messy. That's where you're doubting yourself every day. One minute you feel free, the next minute you're panicking. You look at job listings and your stomach tightens. You walk through your house and it doesn't feel like yours anymore. You're surrounded by people who meant well but don't get it. You're too far away from the old version of yourself to go back, but too uncertain about the new version to stand tall in it yet. This is the phase where you'll want to rush, to fix it, to label it, to explain it. But growth isn't efficient, and reinvention has a grieving period. You're not confused because you're lost. You're confused because your spirit is reorganizing itself around the truth. If you're in that disoriented in-between, let me say this. Don't measure your life by how certain you feel. Measure it by how honest you're willing to be. And right now, you're being honest with yourself in a way you never were before. Starting over doesn't require a master plan. It requires a small, faithful move in the direction of your sanity. We get stuck because we think the change has to be massive to be valid. But you don't need a 5-year plan. You need a next step plan. Something you can actually do today that honors the version of you that's evolving. That might mean creating a new morning routine that's just for you, signing up for a class, not because it leads to a job, but because it lights you up, saying no to someone you always said yes to, getting quiet long enough to hear what your body's been trying to tell you. Starting over means you don't perform clarity, you build it in real time, one small move at a time. The day I gave myself permission to not know where I was going but still keep walking, that was the first real day of my reset. And every step since has been built on trust, not certainty. So if all you do today is not give up, you've done enough. That's the energy we move with now. Here's what I know now, standing in this new chapter. You don't have to go back and fix everything. You don't have to become some new, shinier version of yourself to be worthy. You just have to decide that your peace is the most expensive thing you own and protect it accordingly. What's possible from here? A life that feels like yours, not one built to be impressive, not one built to be understood by everybody, just one that feels grounded. Maybe it's a new career that actually fits the person you've become. Maybe it's finally starting that creative project that's been in your gut for a decade. Maybe it's living slower, loving deeper, letting go faster. Whatever it is, it starts with this question. What do I want to feel at the end of each day? Not what do I want to achieve? Not what do I want to prove? What do I want to feel? And if you can answer that even softly, you've already started over. Let the rest unfold from there. If this spoke to you, don't just click away. Talk to me in the comments. Tell me what part of your life is shifting. Tell me what you're starting over from. And if you know another woman who needs to hear this, send it to her. Share it with your people. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We talk about the real stuff here, the kind of conversations that don't always make it to the mainstream. And hey, if these videos are helping you feel seen or supported and you want to show a little love, you can buy me a coffee. Just scan the QR code on the screen or hit the link below. It helps me keep making content for women like us who are owning this season of our life. Until next time, take care of yourself in ways that don't look impressive to anybody but you, and I will see you in the next video.